Hey, are you like to stay alone? Are you not comfortable sharing your thoughts with groups? So you are an anxious person, and this video is for you. Social anxiety is the issue that no one gets seriously. That is the reason where people suffering from that time they feel depressed and lonely. Why we choose to stay quiet? Social anxiety is becoming an increasingly common problem among the people these days. A number of people experience anxiety while interacting with others. Social anxiety arises from the fear of being misjudged by others. As the result, people suffering from the anxiety try to avoid social gathering and interaction to great extent. However, in the corporate world, social anxiety is the huge pushback and often restrict a career growth of the such individuals. Therefore, it is the important for you to know how to deal with social anxiety and eventually try to overcome it. Anxious thinking. Anxious thinking begins and persists when people make incorrect assumptions about what is likely to happen in given situation, about a quality of their own performance, and about what other people are thinking of them. This is a section includes depression of the same of the most common style of thinking that often seems to play a role of social anxiety and performance. Sometimes it may be difficult to pinpoint your fearful thoughts. Chances are that social anxiety has been a part of your life for so long that your negative thoughts are well reached very quick and almost automatic. So, the fact that you probably avoid the situation you fear makes it happen much more difficult to remember exactly what thoughts tend to occur when you are actually in this situation. If you have difficulty to identify your anxious belief, we suggest that you try to engage with the situation you fear and attempt to identify your assumption and prediction while you are still in situation. With the practice, it should be get easier to recognize your anxious belief. In fact, even if you are unable to identify your specific thought that contributes your anxiety, participating being the situation will likely to lead to decrease in your fear. Avoidance of social situations. Avoiding social situations such as public speaking, making conversation, attempting meetings, dating, and working out at gym prevents you from learning that these situations are safe and that your fears are generally unwanted. Escaping early from this situation are also have a negative impact on your fears by reinforcing your experience that being in situation makes you uncomfortable and leaving the situation provides relief and the reduce of in your fear. In reality, staying in the situation despite the fear that is arises also leads to a reduction in fear. Fear may take longer to decrease when you stay in the situation, but the long-term benefits will be greater by staying the until your fear decrease. You will learn that you can be right in the middle of the situation and feel relatively comfortable. Don't fight your feelings. For years, you have probably been trying to control your anxiety, to prevent it from occurring, and to get rid of as soon as possible, no matter what the cost. By now, you have probably discovered that trying to control your emotion doesn't work. In fact, attempts to control your anxiety are likely to make it worse rather than better. Fighting your fear is like laying in bed trying too hard to fall asleep in particular time. Telling yourself, I must fall asleep of time. The more you try to sleep, it's become harder to sleep. When you can allow yourselves to become anxious without fighting the feelings, eventually you will become much more comfortable in social and performance situations. This sounds contradictory, but it really works this way. Instead of fighting your feelings, just let them happen instead of evaluating your experience. Accept them when participating exposure. You should observe your response and experience without evaluating them. Your fear will likely pass more quickly if you are not trying too hard to get rid of it. Remember, the worst thing that can happen is that you will feel uncomfortable for a while. Being anxious is not dangerous, and anxiety always passes. Don't expect your anxiety to change overnight. It will likely take weeks or months for it to improve. Also, you won't be able to follow your improvement like straight line on graph. You may find that some situations our anxiety decreases fairly quickly, whereas in other situations success takes longer. Also, you may have find that some exposure practice don't lead to any improvement in your fear. You may even have weeks during which your fear, anxiety and worsen. A good rule of thumb is to expect one step back for every two or three steps forward.